It is my great honor that on behalf of organizing committee of the International Governance Conference, I welcome all of you in this first edition of this global forum, beyond usual rhetorics, and tackle burning issues that are today the global issues, global problems when it comes to effective and efficient government. Allow me on your behalf and on behalf of the organizing committee to welcome His Excellency, Prime Minister Edi Rama, for being with us, for being the one that is inaugurating the first edition of International Governance Conference. So, faleminderit, Kryeministër për pjesëmarrje. Let me express my great appreciation for the people that have been with me discussing and listening the idea of establishing the International Governance Forum as global forum. Ambassador Nick Abbott, with whom I spoke in the last 2 years about this idea. Harry from Texas, welcome. He has been from the first day in support of this initiative, so thank you very much, Harry. Ranko, thank you so much. Together with us is not Nancy Pelosi, it's the Ranko, who has been for 4 times the President of Parliament of Montenegro and Foreign Minister. Ranko, thank you very much for being here. I don't see Massimo, it's here. Massimo is he was the head of the World Bank. I discussed with him, I shared the hypothesis, and it's here. Deputy Prime Minister Arben Fetai from North Macedonia, thank you very much for being with us. Adea, thank you, and thank you to all of you. Why International Governance Conference and Institute? There are 3 hypotheses that I have discussed in many meetings with practitioners, with academicians, with researchers. The first one is that we cannot continue in this way to neglect the issue of governance as such. And we should be forefront to admit few, let's say, I'm not saying failures, but new realities. Good governance principles, they were discovered right after Berlin Wall. As principles of good governance, 35 years ago. Time has come to sit and to discuss what makes a government effective and where we should have the interventions and where is the role of government in governance. Second issue, which is also an important issue, is we need to admit the fact that private sector has severely defeated public sector. Private sector is ahead. I was minister, deputy prime minister. People, they wanted a job in public service, public state administration. Now nobody wants a job because the contracts, the conditions at the private sector are better. So the question is, and I was discussing with Nick and with Massimiliano, can we run a state as company? No. Because we have one success indicator in private sector, that's profit. Whereas we have a set of benchmarks and indicators in public sector that we have to reach. However, public sector and private sector is very interdependent. They pay our salaries through taxes, but we regulate. And in the absence of FDIs, the greatest investor is the state, the public. So this relationship has to be discussed beyond usual discussions. Third issue, which is last, is the entire development interventions. And I see here many ambassadors. I spoke to Swiss ambassador last night. I see also friends that we used to work during the pandemic from UNICEF here. Development interventions, development organization, they are in a serious crisis. They are in a sandwich situation because politics is in crisis. They do not give directions, whereas policies are old. And then we have the absence of USAID and many other organizations. They left from democratization. They left from discussing capacity development. They left from tackling burning issues. Most of them, they go around with PowerPoint presentation about good governance principles that were used in the last century. We need to admit that we have to go beyond, and this conference will tackle issues that are burning, that are strategic, and that give direction to policy issues. Why we are in Albania? That's also a very crucial question. Of course, because it's a great host and it has a nice environment to do this, but it's not only for that. Albania has been a leading example. Just go back for a while, 3-4 years behind. Who would believe that Albania will be the front runner in EU integration process? Who would believe that we would have more than 10 million in the last years with tourists? Who would believe that Albania will host the world leaders, the European leaders, to talk about global problems? So Albania did it. Is it this good enough? No. Therefore, it's important that Albania learns from best practices, but Albania, in fact, become the best practice for global government. Why it can be? And now I will sound that I'm praising Prime Minister Rama. But it can be because when we discuss reforms as researchers, we discuss about pain. So there is no reform unless there is no pain. And there is no reform unless there is no political will. This gentleman here has shown that he has and he wants to deliver, and he has the political will. If that's the precondition for the reform to be the best practice, then let's do it all together.